We Star Status. Last time that I checked.
Last time that I checked, it was Star Status. I rip. Everybody know that we the best. Last time that I checked, still 5 rings on deck. Ain't too many got it like that. Last time that I checked, got rookies, got vets, got love, loyalty, and respect. Last time that I checked, we them boys on the west, applying pressure with our knees on their neck. Last time that I checked, that secondary bringing hat, coming across the middle, get your ass whacked, lay your ass flat. On that star on your back, 50-yard partner, you know where it's at. You know how to act. Oh, love. Fall back when we slide up. When y'all talk, it's about us. And y'all know we some riders. And can't none stand beside us. And if it ain't the star, it is not us. We gotta be true. Silver and white with the shot of the blue. The club pack, matter of fact, property through. They say they hating on your shit. It gotta be few. The whole city showing up when we do what we do. Already, Star Status legendary. We fully loaded, aiming cock steady. Falling off, we ain't worried. And all competition getting buried. Is you proud to be a star, boy? Last time that I checked.
Know the part, act the part, be the part. You know, they say the world is a stage and you got to know your part. And we're going to talk about one of the main characters in our fan base today on episode 7. That's right. We are back spinning the block 7 weeks in a row. Episode 7, Facebook FANATIC. I've got a special guest tapping in who was just boots on ground in Arizona at the Cardinals game. He's the type of fan that likes to get around. But before we get to our main character guest, you know, we got to do some salutations and some, you know, some announcements and things like that. So we appreciate everybody tapping in. It's your boy B Jizzle. We are live back in the lab on Facebook. Shout out to all of our Built Different group Green Badge supporters. Let's go. If you got a green badge, I need you to press the like. I need you to share the video, and let's help get an audience for our special guest tonight. This man is very important, residing out on the West Coast, on his impact with fans that like to travel and meetups and watch parties and clubs and nonprofits. We're going to get to that, but special shout out to everybody on LinkedIn, all of my professionals over there at Military Creator Con. We're going to spin the block back in May of 2027 at the Stockyards in Fort Worth. So I'm looking forward to Military Creator Con. Shout out to all of my professionals on LinkedIn. You know, we're live there too as well. And then shout out to all of the subs that's tapping in. Shout out to all of the subs on YouTube. But we got a special guest. But before we get into that, we got some announcements to get through. Special shout out to our sponsors, official sponsors, Turf Caps, baby. Shout out to my guy JB out there in Las Vegas. You know, we taking the turf from the turf to the cap with Turf Caps. And then special shout out to Michelle's Balloons and Crafts down in Atlanta. That is our OAT approved vendor for the month. And speaking of our approved vendor for the month, we currently have a raffle going on. So let me just get y'all in on the raffle. Special shout out to the ladies. Y'all know them Cowboys girls that love them boys. Got a little relaxation box in here from Michelle's Balloons and Crafts. Want to make sure if you're in my group OAT, you can get down and participate. You know, we got about 10 folks or so involved, and you can take a look at it right now. So if you're in OAT, it's $10 per raffle ticket. A lot of good stuff in this relaxation box. Take a look at it, ladies. You got some slippers. You got a robe in the top, shorts. You got a clear bag to get in the stadium. You got some smell goods. You got some coffee cups and some candles going on. So, ladies, make sure you take advantage of that raffle. That is our OAT business. But how's everybody doing? Leave me a comment and let me know where you're tapping in from. We're getting ready to bring our special guest on, Cowboy Kev. Where all them West Coast Cowboy fans at? I need y'all to share this video into Star Status. Let's go. I need y'all to share this video into the other groups out there. Y'all know this guy that's coming up on the stage, especially for all my boots on ground types. And I had to get him in to the rotation before the regular season kicked off. And we were just talking in the green room about how it was perfect timing that he would be able to come on the show today after being in Arizona. So let's welcome our special guest, Cowboy Kev, president of Star Status Cowboys Connection, in the building. How we doing, Prez?
I'm good, Barry. How you doing, my man? Mr. Unifier, how you doing, Mr. Unifier?
Hey, man, you know, that's a good name. You know, appreciate that for folks that aren't aware that Cowboy Kev and I go way back, almost a decade. And Cowboy Kev is the one that gifted me the name of Cowboys Unifier. So I want to make sure and give you the flowers on that. I see where you were going.
All good, Barry, all good. I love what you're doing with your show, man, to watch your growth over the years. You're doing a phenomenal job. Keep doing what you're doing, my man.
Yeah, it's good to have you in. I heard you just got off a plane from Arizona. We're going to get to that game into some of that stuff in the trenches in a minute, Cowboy Kev. But before we do that, let's let everybody know who Cowboy Kev is, the Cowboy fan, because you're out there in Los Angeles. So how does a young man from Los Angeles become a Cowboys fan?
Well, you know the story from when you first interviewed me. I think you interviewed me about 8 years ago now. Barry was going on 5 years. So we're 13 years in. Well,
Yeah.
You know the Backyard Boys. So the whole vision was to always try to get Cowboy fans that's been geographically challenged in neighborhoods that don't normally coexist. So the whole premise was to unite Cowboy fans from different backgrounds, different neighborhoods that normally don't get along, and bring them all together under one umbrella. And we have been very successful with that philosophy. I'm blessed to see the success that we've had, blessed with the relationships that I have formed, especially with you, other Cowboy fans and clubs out there, brother. It's been a nice ride for 13 years.
Yeah, and so what was the first moment where you became a Cowboy fan out there in Los Angeles? I understand what you're doing, and yeah, we're going to get to the story. I'll take that link and place it down there below. We featured you on OAT in 2017, but how did you become a Cowboys fan as a young kid?
1977. Actually, I was 7 years old. I'll never forget. I was actually a Chicago Bear Walter Payton fan. I wasn't a team fan yet. And
What?
You remember when they used to play the Detroit Lions against the Chicago Bears the first game. Then always the second game was the Cowboy game. So this particular Thursday was Thanksgiving actually, and my dad we was watching the first game. I see Walter Payton against Billy Sims, and going through that little era. The second game came on was the Cowboys and the Redskins. So I was like, Dad, who was that? He said, them the Cowboys. And just so happened the cheerleaders came out. And so I said, wait a minute, who is that? He said, that's a cheerleader. So I seen the whole spectacle. And if you remember, the Cowboys won the Super Bowl that year against the Denver Broncos. So with all of the publicity they was getting with the Super Bowl and all of that, I just ran into it and I stuck with it ever since. I've been a Cowboy fan since 1977, brother.
Yeah, so out there in Los Angeles, I know, like you said, being geographically challenged in neighborhoods, how did that work as you as a young kid? Because I know in LA, I did a tour there for 3 years. Certain hoods, you don't wear certain colors. How did you get around that as being a young Cowboy fan in LA, South Central?
Well, growing up, you know what the do's and don'ts. So you maneuver through, difficult situations and neighborhoods that you just don't cross. You just have to be careful with it, man. And at that time, the gang culture was really relevant in Los Angeles. So, you have to pick and choose your battles. Actually, I was not active like that. I was a football player. So, football players got a little leeway with certain things. So I was blessed to have guys around me that protected me through high school and stuff like that.
I got you. I understand that totally. And it takes a village. And if I understand you know what you're saying there, because the inner streets of Los Angeles, man, they're fast. That was like the fastest 3 years that I lived when I was in Los Angeles. I was like, boy, it's fast out here. And speaking of fast, as you coming up as a Cowboys fan, is there the first game that you ever attended, or what was the first big Cowboy memory you had once you claimed the Cowboys as your team?
Actually, my very first football game was the Raiders and the Steelers at the Coliseum. My very first Cowboy game was it at the Coliseum? Yeah. You know what? Actually, it was against the Raiders in '92 when the Cowboys came out here at the LA Coliseum with Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, their first Super Bowl run. That was my very first game I ever went to a very first Cowboy game against the Raiders at the LA Coliseum. Yes, '92.
1992. So, man, all those years in LA as a Cowboy fan, I don't think I've ever asked you this before, but who is your all-time favorite Cowboy?
Roger Staubach.
Oh, tell me, how did Roger become your favorite?
I mean, you seen Captain America in the 70s. He was the man. Every time you look up, he coming to save the day. He saved a lot of games for us, man. I was a big Roger Staubach fan, and he's an Aquarius, so I'm Team Aquarius.
Oh, man. See, I was hoping we was going to get through this podcast without getting on to that, because I know y'all are big out there in your club, and we'll get to that in a minute. Shout out to all of the folks on the signs. I'm a Pisces, but I get that, what you're saying, the Aquarius, so that's the real
right.
Between how many other Cowboys that are Aquarius, huh? Is it just Roger that you know?
That's the only one that matters to me.
I heard that. And so becoming a Cowboy fan, repping it out there in LA, at what point did you start to think like, man, Did you go to a game? Oh, you said your first game was at the Coliseum. When was your first game that you went to at AT&T Stadium, if you remember?
It was the inaugural season. When did the stadium came out in 2010,
I think.
Yeah, that was the very when I went there. I went there the first year it opened, man. Because the Backyard Boys. Backyard Boys is a group of individuals that I grew up with. They represent different teams, right? So they used to always come over to my house and try to clown me. You don't have a tattoo. I got a tattoo. You ain't never been to Texas Stadium. You ain't never been to AT&T. When you gonna go to Texas? So I went to one of my good friends, Demond, took me out there. Well, I went out there and I went to go see the stadium when they tore it down. They actually tore down Texas Stadium. So I seen that. So I took pictures of that. And then the next year or the following year, I went to AT&T Stadium when they first opened it up. I had to go. I had to put that on my bucket list.
Yeah. Who was it that you played? Do you remember?
Was it Atlanta? I think it was Atlanta. Oh, Atlanta Falcons.
They got the dub.
Yeah, they got the dub. And I was blessed with one of my high school friends named Shamika. She got me into a suite. My very first game, I was in a suite. In a suite. My friends was calling me. They were talking crazy. I don't see you on TV. You ain't out there. I came back with bags of Cowboy stuff and cups. My very first game I was in a luxury suite with Cowboy fans I didn't even know. But my friend Shamika, she hooked me up with her auntie used to work there. So they got me in a suite. And they welcomed me. They was you from LA. They welcomed me like the Southern hospitality was on full display.
So talk about that, Kev, because there's a lot of hype around our team right now, and there's a lot of fans that are going to go to their first game this season. What was that like, and how did that change you as a fan when you attended your first game at AT&T Stadium?
Well, it didn't change me. It just heightened me more. You know, man, I was so excited. I couldn't sleep the night before. It was just crazy. It's like I was like a kid in the candy store. You got to remember, I've been a Cowboy fan since '77. So my very first game of seeing it was in 1992. So that took a long time to do that. And then not to go to Texas Stadium all those years. And then to see the new stadium, man, I was like a kid in the candy store. I went to the pro shop. They gave me a discount at the pro shop. Man, it was just fabulous. I came back with jackets, cups, and all kind of stuff.
Hey, you was balling out there, balling on a budget, huh?
I was balling on credit.
I hear you, man. And speaking of credit, a lot of credit because you've attended a lot of games and built a lot of things. But what kind of advice would you have for a fan that's going to AT&T Stadium, especially like the home opener for the first time this season?
Enjoy the moment. Get a program. Get something that stamps your presence at that event. I still got the inaugural bag that I got from from AT&T Stadium. I got the jacket. I got a picture. I took the tour. I did the whole nine, man. I went all in, brother. All in.
Yeah, you did the stadium tour and all of that, huh?
Everything, man. I had to get the whole experience because I was getting ridiculed out here in LA. So when I went back, they was like, "Oh, he official."
I can understand that, man, because up here in Seattle, when I started out on social media earlier, a lot of folks like, how are you gonna be a Cowboy fan in Seattle? You ain't from Dallas. Like, what was that like growing up? Because it sounds like what you were getting from some of your guys, like, oh, you ain't no real Cowboy fan because you haven't done X, Y, and Z. But I mean, with the Rams and the Raiders and all of the teams we see in LA, like, did you catch flack for, hey, why you claiming a team in a whole nother state?
Well, I kind of did, but then I told them, well, y'all moved and came back. So why would I? What's the problem? What is the issue here?
I hear you, man. I love it 100%. So this is really a great time for us because I know you and I go way back in our relationships, and I've watched you grow your club, which we're getting ready to talk about, Star Status, Cowboys Connection. Let's talk about that. So now you've gone to the stadium, you've earned your stripes. You going back and forth with the haters. You're getting your weight up. At what point did you say, man, I want to start a fan club?
Actually, my good friend Eric Fisher, I used to always talk to him, man, I want to do a fan club. He's like, man, go ahead and do it, man. You could do it. So I was nervous on the computer. So I had put in the computer Dallas Cowboy fan clubs in LA, and it came up with SCDCFC. That was in 2011. Mind you, the Star Status started in 2013. So it took me 2 years to get the courage up to actually to get it going. But a lot of my friends, Buffalo Rio, Eric was the Bronco fan, Tyrone the Raider fan, Redskin Nut, they all was like, okay, go ahead and just see. So let me give you a quick story. So we used to watch the game in my backyard. I used to come over, we used to barbecue. all of the backyard boys come over, all different teams, right? Different neighborhoods, whatever. So we used to lose a lot. We wasn't winning a lot back then. So one week we decided to have a Cowboys only game. So I told them, man, y'all can't come over today. It's only Cowboy fans, me and Don Quinine, Jamal, all of my little Cowboy friends, right? D. Hurst, Dallas T, BMO. Then we said, we're going to just all have a Cowboy day. So we trying to plan it. But lo and behold, here they come standing at my back gate. What, you not going to let us in? so they basically bombarded us, got in, and we lost that game too. And it was just, it was just the camaraderie of it. They said, how you going to put us out now? No, we've been coming over here every Sunday. No, we ain't changing nothing. So then we tried to change it up and go away from my backyard. We went to what was that? Sharky's in Manhattan Beach. And never forget, against the Philadelphia Eagles. Don had said, all right, we going out there. We went out there. Why did they all follow us out there? That's when I knew that we was going to have a fan club and that we were going to have a following. That's what made me really realize that this is bigger than what I thought it could be.
Now, a lot of folks don't understand, but I know you do because you're building an alliance, and that's what I loved about following you over these last years. Not only have you started a fan club, built healthy relationships, especially in the streets of Los Angeles, crossing geographical lines, but also creating those alliances with those fans, like what you're talking about, coming in to bombard you know, in LA. And I think that's, I want to give you your flowers for that. That's very challenging. You know what I mean? To be able to deal with that, because you deal with the gangs. Like, let's just keep it 100. There's gangs in LA and there's colors. And when you talk NFL teams in there and you talk about relationships, starting your club, was it everybody from your neighborhood, or did you have folks from outside that were also willing to say, look, man, we're going in this with you? Right.
No, I had guys I had Bloods. I had rival. I got to say it, if I'm going to put it out there. You had neighborhood Crips. You had the gangster Crips. I'm on the gangster card. That's the neighborhood card. They rivals. So my cousin is the neighborhood, and we didn't tolerate the game banging. So that's what made us came up with the name Keep It Football, because we didn't want to take away from the game of football. Whatever you got going, just keep it football. You leave your neighborhood. We just say leave your stress and strife on them streets. We in here, we keep it football, rep your team without all that disrespectful. We don't do F your team, none of that. And it just became a culture. And it became catchy because everybody was understanding it. And we've done a lot of good stuff out here with that Keep It Football motto.
Yeah. And what I wanted to originally draw upon was that, when you started your club and you started building this out, there was a particular fan base that kind of, inspired you a little bit, because I know you got a strong relationship with the Raider Nation that's out there. Yeah, for a lot of Cowboy fans to say, oh, the Cowboy fans are the only ones that get out and do this. No, the Raiders, let's give them their flowers. I mean, Raider Nation has been basically in the trenches since the trenches were there, I think, right? How is that relationship with the Raider folks?
Well, it's actually two of them. Raider Nation South LA, White Boy Dave, Alex, Floyd. I'm gonna miss some names, but the Raider Nation South LA is the ones that actually helped me point me in the right direction. We had started it just on a wham, because one of my friends said, Kevin, you need to come up here at the GS and see how the Raiders. It's the Raiders up here. I'll never forget. I went up there with Chuck Austin. When I got up there with Chuck Austin, we went up there to see this game, right? The Raiders played the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Foles threw 6 touchdown passes, I believe, that day. I thought we was going to see a melee. The Raider fans, they was cool. They had all black, and I couldn't believe so many people was in one particular place with all the same color. So I went up to this guy named Raider Ross. I said, how do you start this? So he gave me his name, he gave me his number, and he said, I'll point you in the right direction. He pointed me to White Boy Dave and Floyd, and they helped me along the way, man. And that's what got me started. But then to take it a step further, I reached out to Lewis and Lewis out there in SCDCFC. Lewis helped me out tremendously. We had a respect level to where we wouldn't recruit Cowboy fans east of the 710 or west of the 710, and that's how we built our relationship. We still got a great relationship with SCDCFC, outstanding relationship with them. So I owe a lot of credit to other individuals as well.
Yeah, and I'm glad you say that, because like I said on previous episodes here at Facebook Fanatic, there's about 30 to 50 fans in our fan base that's responsible for a lot of this culture that's going on that's having an effect. Like now you see, from my vantage point, I see everybody's a content creator. But now I'm sure you see from your vantage point, everybody wants to start a fan club, and everybody's like, hey, come over here and start this. And there's folks that have came in and been revolving doors and came and gone. But let's talk about some of the key people that have helped you along the way, because I know you didn't do it by yourself, and I know you got a long list of folks. But if there's a couple of folks or 2-3 folks that you'd like to give some flowers to today, who really helped you get this star status vision going?
Dallas T, Vimo, Damon Hurst, and Charles Chuck Austin. They're the 5 founders that helped me start it off. I called them one day on the phone and said, we're going to start a club. And they all was on board. And from that day on, it was just all gas, no brakes. I mean, it's been a nice ride, man. It's been bumpy at times, but what kept Star Status successful was the drive that everybody had to make it successful. I'm just one of the biggest faces of it, but there's so many others in other states, other chapters that has been doing a tremendous job. And I can't say enough, because I'm going to miss names and they're going to say, "Oh, he forgot me. He forgot me." And I don't want to do that to minimize anyone's effort on what they did for Star Status. We have Ohio out there. We have Vegas. We have AVIE. We have Texas, of course. We gotta have Dallas. That. Gotta have Dallas. You got Greenville, North Carolina, South Carolina, Flowtown. You got Myrtle Beach. You have so many different avenues out there now to where we just really are trying to fine tune what it feels like to be in a successful fan club.
So by how many members could you guesstimate total, or how many chapters would you say that Star Status National now has? Because you span from the West Coast to the East Coast. Yeah,
so that's we're pivoting in a new direction. We've had 13 years of success. Sometimes the voice gets stale, sometimes the message gets stale. So we're unveiling Star Status National, which is going to be a more premier socializing group to where we're more focused on watch parties outside our areas. We're going to have national events and regional events. So that way it won't be so geared to just having local watch parties within your own backyard. We're going to be expanding out to have regional events and national events. Our first national event is going to be the Roundup in Houston this year. Then we're going to go against another one. We have another game out in Dallas against the 49ers, Los Angeles. So we really got 3 of them out here this year.
Got you. And I definitely want to give you your flowers, because a lot of folks don't know, but you and your club was actually the first club to ever recognize me. I don't know if you remember this award that you gave me in 2018 for being a historian of following along and telling the Star Status story. Because once I created OAT in 2016, you were one of the first folks that I developed a relationship with, because I was really looking at who was posting on Facebook this Cowboys lifestyle, bro. Because I'm like, man, these folks are in the trenches. They dressed up. They got tattoos. They got cars. They got it all.
Yeah. No, Barry, so, I seen your authenticity when you started in it, man, and I respected it from the top, and I wanted to get to know you a little bit better. That's what the whole thing about Star Status Cowboys Connection is to try to build healthy relationships. Now, it doesn't always go that way to where you want it to go, but if you can agree to disagree and go in a separate direction, that's fine, because at the end of the day, we're all Cowboy fans. We don't want to minimize anybody's fandom, but Barry, a lot of people look up to you, a lot of people respect you for your content, and I'm just proud to be a part of it and watch your growth and success. You're doing a phenomenal job,
man. I appreciate that, Kev, because on the real, it's been it's tough, especially being a Cowboy fan, man. We ain't won shit in a lot of years, and everybody seem to know, right?
Man, they remind me so much. When we get to the Arizona game this past weekend, I'll let you know. I'll talk about a little bit about that a little bit later.
Yeah. We're definitely going to talk about that, because I got some live video I seen you tapped in with One Star One Family. And to come back to that circle around, it's great to hear that y'all are doing things around the nation, because when you drop that name Cowboy Unifier on me, I never really understood, because I had to make a decision early. Did I want to be an X's and O's type of blogger, creator, writer, or did I want to focus on the fans? And I think I got, so enamored with the fan culture, reaching out to you and, watching Star Status was a big, part of that, and actually helped my growth too as well, because, I've attended a lot of your events and had you on several times. You've developed a lot of relationships across the lines in LA. And I think this is just for the bigger picture, that it's good to see all folks are starting to work together now, right?
Yeah, it is, man. But you know what? It could get challenging because everybody think they can do things better. The only thing that I can advise anybody that's trying to do a fan club, follow your heart and your passion. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. If they're gonna follow your passion, your pride, and your authenticity. If you're authentic with it, they're gonna follow you. If you just want a fan club to say you're just starting a fan club, you may not have the success that you think you deserve. That's as plain as I can see it. Say it.
Because as well as I know, as soon as we get off on a winning streak, we're going to get into some football here in a little bit. Winning's good for business. And there's going to be a bandwagon, a ride full of fans, and there's going to be 100 fan clubs trying to get started. So with those folks that may be watching today that may be inspired by what you're building, what kind of advice do you have for somebody that just made a decision like, man, I'm about to do what Kev did. I'm going to start me a fan club?
Reach out to somebody you trust that's already in the trenches that has some experience with it. Be coachable. Be understanding, show patience, and just have a open and welcoming heart. But you have to be accountable and responsible. With a title comes responsibilities and accountability. That's the first thing you want to go with. But you also need to get some advice. Don't just think you can do it all on your own. There's nobody bigger than the program. Nobody's bigger than the program.
Hey, you're right about that. And speaking of the program this year, man, there's a lot of hype around our team, right, Kev? Tell me what kind of energy are you feeling inside your club down there in LA? Because we come to LA.
Yeah, December the 20th. Actually, Barry, I'm going to be open and candid with you. We went through a lot of turmoil last year with Star Status, with the chapters, with the different clubs. You got certain things that happen where the business can get lost if you don't keep pursuing the right individuals that need to represent your brand. Not to say everybody is a perfect fit for your brand, but you have to vet them and get a better understanding with them. So last year we actually took a step back. So this year we're pivoting back to getting Star Status back into it, but also we are revamping it to the point to where it's going to be Star Status National. Cowboys Connection is not going to no longer exist. It's going to be Star Status National, and who's ever under that umbrella will be part of our family. So we really are transitioning and trying to take it to a different level.
I hear you, and taking it to a different level. The Cowboys are looking like they're going to take it to a different level. Kev, we are now 2-0. We haven't been 2-0 in the preseason since 2007. Big dog, how you feeling about us and our start? I know it's just preseason, but tell me how you feeling.
I put a post up. This team just feels different. The culture is changing, man. Every year the Star Status go feed the Dallas Cowboys out there at training camp, right?
Bloodsoes, yeah.
Yeah, with Bloodsoes Barbecue. Shout out to Kevin Bloodsoe. He's a Star Status member too, as well.
I bet that barbecue good. I haven't had any yet, man.
You haven't had any?
Hey, every year I see all them, I know that barbecue.
Barry, when you come down here to LA in December, I got you.
All right, bet.
I got you. So the way that we see the culture now, you could just feel it's changing. Shotty has came in and reinvented the whole culture, man. And it was taking place last year. I saw it going last year, but we only won 7 games. So, it kind of like, all right, you see some changes or whatever. But this year, I can actually feel it. When we was feeding the players, we was talking to the players, it just feels different, man. It feels like they're more connected with each other, and they protecting each other, and they have more camaraderie this year. Last, a few years ago, you had the Michael Parsons against DeMarcus Lawrence. You had Diggs. It's just so much stuff behind the scenes that we don't know about as fans that was going on. And you could feel the energy. This year, man, I'm telling you, the energy has changed. They're fighting with they're fighting for each other. They're flying around, man. Last night, the game was it was a preseason game, but the energy in that stadium for the Cowboy fans was just crazy.
Let's talk about before the game, because I know you went out there and you had some folks from your Star Status National come in as well to link up with SCDCFC and One Star One Family. Let's talk about the event One Star One Family had out there that you and your club attended. Tell me a little bit about that as I pull this video up from it.
Yeah. Shout out to Kai, Sherry, Pat. I think her name is Patty, and Raleigh. They did a phenomenal job. One Star One Family is the premier. They're Cowboy connecting people. They really are connecting a lot of individuals, and they're really not a fan club. They're a movement, and they're connecting Cowboy fans from all over. They did a phenomenal job. It was good to have so many Cowboy fans from different areas. We had starts out of Arizona out there, Dallas, Ohio, Redbone, and we had a lot of love there from our chapter. So it was about 15 to 20 of us. Arizona put on a fabulous display of hospitality. Patrick, Chanel, Riri, They did a phenomenal. David, they did a phenomenal job out there. Dominique, I met a few of those guys for the first time. So it was really a good event, a great weekend, man. Just great. They showed tremendous hospitality, and you know Kai put on the show, and you know Kai gonna put on the show all the time.
Yeah, especially him and his wife Sherry. So shout out to One Star One Family, because like you said, in Houston it's going down again. But I know in Houston, you know, let's not put the cart before the horse, Cowboy Kid. You got some big things going on in Houston with Star Status National, and that's that first game in October. So tell everybody a little bit here so we can get some word out. What can folks expect, or can they come and attend your events that you're having down there, the Roundup, right?
Yeah, shout out to Jason and Fruit out there from that's representing Star Status National Southeast. We're gonna do we call it our roundup. Every year we normally do the roundup in Dallas. This year we wanted to switch it up a little bit and take it away from Dallas to get a different experience. So we we'll allow Houston to do it. So they're gonna be doing a few events, day party, night party. I don't have everything right in front of me, but we are gonna be having some events. We're doing a tailgate with One Star One Family actually. Because you know the tailgate, trying to get out there, get all that stuff out there.
So Star Status will be with X Hospitality and One Star One Family there.
Yes, we will be at
okay.
that.
Ooh, that's gonna be a movie right there.
That's gonna be. I talked to Kyle about it last night. It's gonna be insane. It's gonna be insane. So, but our packages is up. Due to so many Cowboy fans out there, there's gonna be so many parties. It's hard to say, you know, what party you want to support, because we want to support other clubs' parties, but you got to focus on your own first. So we have a day party and a night party, I believe, and a meet and greet Friday, Saturday, and we got the tailgate Sunday. So that's what we're gonna be doing.
Got you. And so you were able to go to the game. So tell me, what was it like inside? Because I know there's a lot of Cowboy fans in Arizona, and it looked like it was a lot of them there because they was out there for that Navajo Nation guy who was the first Navajo player to sign an NFL contract. They were showing him love at the end. What was it like in the stadium? Were there more Cowboy fans than Cardinal fans? Yes,
it was electric. We took over, but as you know, it's always more Cowboy fans in Arizona. So this is a shout out to Arizona Cowboy fans. Phenomenal job. It was just the energy. It was just, I'm telling you, Barry, it feels different. It feels different. I don't know what it is. It just feels different.
I ain't gonna lie, because I was telling, you know, RC and Mike Rock. I was telling RC and Mike Rock up here before the Seattle game, I was like, man, I don't think I've ever been excited for a preseason game than I have for Seattle. And it's not just because the Cowboys come to Seattle twice. It's not because, you know, it's our year again, nothing like that. It's because the depth that's going on with this team. I mean, we're seeing, like you said, that energy of those young players are out there. What players stood out to you last night at the game in Arizona that you was at?
Milton, the quarterback, looked great last night. You know, James number 6, he's been balling. But Siobhan Rebel, that defense, that DB, man, I think our defense is going to be, and we could just be mid-level this year. I think we're going to be all right because our offense is going to be there. Blue kind of showed me a little bit later on. I was a little skeptical of Blue. I think Davis is pushing for that second spot at running back, but I'm cheering for Blue only because I like his speed aspect, the thunder and lightning aspect of Williams and Blue. Davis brings a little bit more physicality than Blue, but he doesn't have that speed like Blue has.
Yeah, definitely Milton edged up on that quarterback too. That's something that I've been paying attention to. And isn't it a good thing? Like, we haven't had these kind of problems in Dallas for a while, Kev. You know, the starters are sitting out and we got guys making plays. Like our 2s and 3s have been better than Seattle and Arizona. And that's got to be telling, because when the ones show up in New York, bro, how are you feeling about this new signing with Von Miller? Let's talk about that.
I like it. I wish it was a couple of years earlier when we had DeMarcus Ware. We could have had 2 bookends. But actually, you know, I wanted to shout out Mingo, man. I think Mingo's going to be pushing for that receiver. We might have to go 6 or 7 receivers deep, right?
Man, I'm telling you, it's going to be some. I'm glad I don't have to make the decision on 53-man roster, because it's good to have guys competing.
Yeah, I know. But see, like you said the second and third team is that's coaching. That's coaching. They are coaching these players, man. And that's what we were missing in the years. Not to say Mike McCarthy did a bad job, but I think he was just a facilitator of the talent that we had, and he couldn't prepare them over the top. Shoddy is giving them a whole different angle. The new defensive coordinator, oh my God. The energy, just that youthfulness is coming out. And they did that, man. I'm telling you, this team is different, bro. It's different.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see us come out on Sunday Night Football, but I'm looking forward most to the home opener too as well. Is Star Status going to be? You got any folks showing up at the home opener there for the
I'm sure
Commanders game?
Yeah, I'm sure Dallas is going to be out there. Star Dallas is going to be out there. It's going to have a few people going out there for the home opener, but really, we hanging our hat on the 49ers in Dallas and the Houston game.
Ooh, I'm glad you brought.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm glad you brought that up because that 49ers game has now been designated on the 14th or the 15th of November as the Salute to Service game.
Is it?
And you know, Cynthia and Fan Zone's bringing 3 buses of Cowboy Stars of Memphis with her for that game, and they've got Drew Pearson locked in for an all-white party with Drew Pearson.
Oh, that's gonna be insane! Shout out to Cynthia Bowen. She does great events. That's gonna be insane. Oh man, that's gonna be insane,
bro. I didn't have no plans to go into no games in November because my poor little budget, bro. You know how it is. It's hard to keep up with these Joneses, right?
It is. It's very hard. It's very hard. But you know what? You plan ahead and you can make it happen. That sounds like a good white party. But we're gonna be having our parties out there as well. So hopefully we can put our head in to check in on Cynthia Bowen as well. I don't know if it's going to be a day or a night party, but that'd be nice with Drew Pearson. Who don't want to see Drew?
I think it's the Saturday night before the game on Sunday, but you know that she hadn't got all the particulars out on that. But that's forced my hand. At first, I was like, Drew. I was like, oh man, I can't miss this. And then they announced a couple of days ago, Salute to Service game. I was like, damn, I'm in there like swimmer. I got to be there now.
Yeah, Salute to Service. That's honoring our soldiers, man. That's a beautiful day. They picked the perfect time to do it too. And that you know what? It's funny that they're doing that. You know, the game we called it. That's labeled as our dynasty war between the two organizations.
Well,
that's crazy.
Let's talk about, because I know you got some veteran presence, you know, in your club. There's some folks that you want to give a shout out to, some of the vets that are in your club, or maybe have helped shape some impact there. What's the veteran presence like with Star Status National?
Well, Big John, rest in peace. He just, you met John. You remember Big John, right?
Big John
Williams. He passed away. You didn't go. You've seen him. He knows who you is. You know who he is.
Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of members out of your club. It's been kind of tough. You know,
it's been real tough. It's been
over this last decade.
Yeah, our Salute to Service, Tanisha Rogers with our Star Status Cares nonprofit organization. She does a phenomenal job. But we don't just focus on the Cowboy veterans. There's not a lot of us. Tashina Supermom, she's one. We don't have a lot of veterans in our club actually. But what she does great. She does a Salute to Service event and invites all of the other clubs, the 49ers, the Raiders, all of their veterans as well. So that's another form of fellowship with outside of our own network.
Nice. I'd like to be in on the next thing y'all do, especially for the Alliance, on some veteran stuff. Maybe when we got the Rams in December.
Yeah.
So if folks are just watching this right now for the first time, that are seeing Star Status National and learning about fan clubs and things like that. Somebody's in LA and you're watching this like, I didn't know they had a fan club. I mean, I can join with other Cowboy fans. Like, what is the process for somebody to become a member of Star Status National?
Actually, this year we're not going to have membership. We're going to be filling up our roster. We want to make sure we got the right individuals moving forward. We've had a lot of members. Some people just want to be a part of it, but we want you to get in the game. We don't want you to just be a part of it. We don't want volunteers. We don't want hostages. We want volunteers. We want to make sure you're coming out and understanding what it means to represent Star Status, know the part, act the part, be the part. Unfortunately, some people get in the club and they just think it's just a free willy, do what you want to do. No, it has to be structured. It has to be rules and regulations. And you have to know what you're signing up for, know the rules of engagement. So actually, this year, we're not going to be accepting any membership, but what we will do have a lot of watch parties and just start building our roster and recreating our culture.
Got you. And so when I opened up, your motto for your club is know the part, act the part, be the part. And I really like that when I interviewed you back in 2017, because structure, being a retired military, structure to any organization along with communication are your biggest challenges. And so let's talk about that, especially for folks that are not understanding you're in geographically challenged neighborhoods in South Central. What know the part, act the part, be the part. How did that come about, and why does that resonate with your club?
Well, me and Light Bright Chuck Standoaks, we were talking one day, and we were just talking about the culture and individuals in our club. We said they gotta know what it means to be Star Status. Know what it means to be Star Status and be it. When we say you Star Status, it's a status. It's not just you just throwing your name on the wall. It's a status. Know the part, act the part. You gotta act like you Star Status. We stars. We represent the Cowboys. We are the creme of the NFL. Cowboys. We run NFL. I know it. Everybody knows that. And
Preach
they
it,
need to
Pastor.
act like that, act like the star that you are. And that's what it is. Know the part, act the part, be the part. And you have to be it all the time. It's not just no off season. It's no off season with us. Well, we didn't have any until last year. But yeah, we build in the off season to have a good season. That's why we had so much success over 13 years. And like I said, sometimes the voice can get stale, the message can get stale, and you got to reinvent yourself. Star Status National is an opportunity for us to repivot, revisit, adjust, and grow in a different direction because we want to connect with more Cowboy fans outside of our own usual branding.
Got you. And doing good for Cowboy fans is all good and great for watch parties and clubs and things like that. But your Star Status National also has a nonprofit. Star Status Cares. Now that's very huge, especially for a fan club. Let's talk about not just the fandom and all of that comes with it. What your members in your club with Star Status Cares and that nonprofit is doing in the inner city streets of Los Angeles.
Oh man, tremendous job. We did a Father's Day last year where we got haircuts for the fathers and gave them trophies for a 3-on-3 basketball game. We always do a community feed the village in our community. We have backpack drives with the NFL Alliance one year. We do a lot. And shout out to Tanisha Rogers, Dallas T, Dwayne from the IE. That's another branch of our Star Status family in the Empire. They do a tremendous job of helping, making sure these events are successful. Man, we have touched so many individuals, but also I want to shout out to my boy Mike and the 49er faithful. He's not a Cowboy fan, as you know, he's a faithful, but he's there always helping with our community events through Star Status Cares. So we want to continue that relationship and continue to let it grow because if you're not active in the community and you're football or you're in a football club, I think you're doing an injustice to what you should be representing, what your club should be representing.
You bring that up because your why has got to be I keep doing that. I'm sorry. I apologize. Your why is very important. And your why was always to create healthy relationships with other Cowboy fans, especially in those challenged neighborhoods. And beyond that, now let's talk about this NFL Alliance you got going on. You've been kind of peppering it up. We've been kind of dancing around it a little bit. Like I said, you not only got your club going, but this NFL Alliance. Let's talk about how many other fans or fan bases do you have in this alliance and tell folks what that is about in LA.
Okay, so we have Raider Nation Stop LA, Raider Riders, Worldwide Eagles, SoCal Rams Connection, Saint Squad LA. We just got Bo Business, and Bo Business been running about 3 years now. Saint Squad LA, Chargers, Eagles. Steelers was in it, but they're in transition right now. It's just about trying to get a fan base that's not always Cowboys, because everything is Cowboy, right?
Right.
So we wanted to create an environment to where other clubs and other backgrounds can come in and come together under one umbrella and have some kind of coexistence to where we do unity picnics. We help the community. West Side Niners, 49er faithful as well. I can't minimize them. Those are two different clubs, but they still represent the 49ers. So last year, actually, we gave Cease for Peace. Wait a minute, was it? I think it was Cease for Peace, $4,000 to their nonprofit, raised through not through Star Stats, through our NFL Alliance group. We raised $4,000, I think $4,500, something like that, and we presented them a check. That's what we want to give back to. So our NFL Alliance is really a tight-knit group. We have had our lumps and bumps. Like last year, we had to cancel the picnic because we couldn't get the permit. We'd be having thousands of individuals out there. No park wanted to give us a permit. So they took our permit away. So that's why we couldn't do it this past year. So shout out to our alliance. We want to make sure that we continue that outlet to make people feel safe in a protected environment while they're repping their team.
And that's about how many different clubs that could you put a number on that? Not just the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's 9. It's it's 9. So you got Worldwide Eagles, you got Saint Squad LA, you got Boat Business, you have 49er Faithful, you have West Side Niners, Raider Riders, Raiders of South LA. I said Worldwide Eagles. It's another club that I'm missing. I'm missing another club. I knew I would do this. That's why I don't like to be naming names. They're gonna say, "Kevin, you didn't say my name."
Yeah. I think that's awesome that you're crossing the lines per se in Los Angeles with other teams, not just Cowboy fans, because that's a way of life. I mean, you don't know where you're going. Like you say, you wear the wrong color or the wrong, corner market, and you're not knowing, and it's kind of a tough business out there. But that keep it football, know the part, act the part, be the part. I think that's very key, and especially for fan clubs that why do you get into it? Like what you said, You know, what's your why? Be cognizant of your why, because you said if you're not in, you know, the communities, then what are you really doing?
Right, and that's what we want to keep stressing. You should be in the community because our community needs a lot of assistance. You know, we don't have the resources that other communities have, so we try to make sure that we doing our best job to present something for our own youth can look forward to and have a good outlook on life and moving forward. You know, you know, when my daughter passed away, the NFL Alliance and other clubs, they reached out to me so much to where, you know, the outpour of love, it just keeps my passion going on why we do what we do. Because without that, you don't have the support, you don't have the resources to be successful. So, you know, you have to know your why. Know your why.
Definitely know your why. You talk about resources and support. Let's shift and let's talk about December when the Cowboys come to visit AT&T West.
Yeah, that's going to be insane, man. We're going to be doing something collective with the SoCal Rams connection out here. They're part of our alliance, but we also want to represent all Ram fans and Cowboy fans. It's just not selected to us. We want to invite everybody. I'm going to do a Saturday night party. I think Kai and them doing a tailgate that Sunday, but we'll be at Free Space in Inglewood, California. That Saturday night, we're going to host a big party, a meet and greet Friday, but we're going to do it with the Ram fan base. It's good to be around Cowboy fans all the time, but it's more fun when you have the opponent there with you with the same respect level to where you have a clear understanding on what it means to rep your team with class and respect.
Yeah, especially when you throw alcohol in there, you know what I mean? I know that's, you know, you got to have your members policing themselves. You're not the only, you know, cop going around saying, hey, know the part, act the part, be the part. No. You probably got folks that, you know, hey, you know, especially why didn't you, you know, stop that? Hey, that ain't part of this, you know, what we're trying to build here. So I know there's a lot of policing going on amongst yourselves.
But a lot of our members, you know, we have a few here and there. It's not easy, but we police our own. You know, that's why when we do our Raider Nuts South LA is giving a jersey party, I believe Saturday night, the 30th, and it's going to be big. It's going to be huge. But we all took it upon ourselves to tell each other, police your own. I can't go to a Raider and tell them not to do this and that. You could take with alcohol involved, it could turn into something else. So what we do is we go to their board members and tell them, hey, you might want to look at this, check this out, and they'll talk to their own. That police your own, so that way it won't turn into something else.
Right.
That could be irreparable. You know.
Somebody say something at an event, and then somebody post something on social media, and then the next thing you know, you got a whole fire you got to put out, right?
Oh yeah, I mean we've had fires. We put out fires. Like I said, it's not easy, Barry. But you know what? When you have the right people, around you, it could be good. It turns out good.
So wrapping up on December, now if I want to ask you, because, you know, I had Luis, president of SCDCSE on here, and I had to ask him because I want to ask the OGs, especially for SoFi AT&T West. The Cowboys happen to make it to the big game on Valentine's Day. I know Star Status National got a contingent plan of what might be going down. Like, I know y'all got to be talking about it like, hey, because it's a different vibe in the air. Have those kind of conversations been going on amongst your team?
Not yet, Barry, because you know we haven't been to Super Bowl in over 30 years, right? So it scares me to talk Super Bowl.
Hey man, our quarterback is talking about it. Dak showed up and Dak has put this conversation right, man. This is, you know, I'm glad you say that because a lot of Cowboy fans feel that way. Like we can't talk about it, but there's 12 teams that never won a Super Bowl. That's another story, but I know we got to have a plan. You know, we got to have some kind of plan. I'm just kind of throwing that out there, baby, because, you know, I'm going to be there in December. And if we're there in February, I'm there in February.
Oh, no,
too, baby.
No. I have great relationships with venues out here. So, Of course, they're going to be contacting me. Hey, Cowboys go, hey, what's going on? So, you know, it's going to be in my back pocket, but I don't want to speak. I don't want to put it before the horse. You know, I can't do that. I've done that years ago. I stopped doing it because it's been so much disappointment.
We're gonna do this, and then
exactly.
this happened. Yeah. We can't do that. Exactly. You said you was gonna do this, and you didn't do it. Right?
I do not. And then you know what? When my friends see this, they'll say, "You said y'all was gonna do this." I do not want them to put that on me. No, negative.
Yeah. Well, that's good. All right. I just want to make sure, you know, the leadership, we're looking at this because, you know, it's time to circle the wagons, baby. I'm excited about this season. I've never been more excited about a preseason. I can hear it coming from you and your club too, as well, from what you said out there in Arizona. And I wish I could have been out there, but just wasn't in the cards. I won't be at another game until I'm at the home opener, but I definitely am looking forward to running into you and your club out there in Houston. So amongst all of that that's going on this season, what are some other new things going on with Star Status maybe you want to share with us today?
Well, like I said, we pivoted to Star Status National to where we're going to be more nationally known. We're not a local club. We're going to be a global club. So we want to continue to keep that going and make sure that everybody understand what the philosophy of Star Status stands for. Know the part, act the part, be the part. Building healthy relationships. Like I said, we've had club that has went in different directions. We wish you nothing but the best. And there's no hard feelings because at the end of the day, we're Cowboy fans. But we only ask that you don't throw mud when you closing that door. Don't throw mud. That's the only thing that I can tell any club, because you've seen different clubs branch off from different areas. You've seen the same thing that I've seen. And I've always wanted to give the message out. It's okay to go in a different direction, but don't burn that bridge because you never know when you're going to run into them individuals again and you may need some resources or some information. Don't burn your bridges.
Yeah. And I know we had, you're talking about Big John and a lot of members have passed and we lost a very important member in your fan club and our fan base and for the culture of the Cowboys in general, and that was with Miss Price. And so I know she was a member of your club. This podcast has really been inspired by her and Crazy Ray to get these fans on here to let everybody know what's going on. But share your thoughts on Mama Price and how she was a member of your fan, what that did with your club.
Yeah, actually, she was bigger than a member. She had her own fan club. We was the fans of her.
She was the OG boots on ground, if you ask me.
Exactly. So, to have her just to be around us was a blessing, man. I never forget when I first started seeing her on HBO. She used to be on HBO a lot. Then when I finally met her in person, I hugged her. It felt like an auntie or a grandmother you hadn't seen in years and you know them, but you don't know them. And her presence just brought. I can't even resemble or express the words or the emotions that I felt when I first met her in Vegas at a Sit There Bowling event. We hugged. She said, I heard about you, because on Facebook, and then we finally met. And she said, I would like to be a part and, to support you and everything like that. And she did that all the time, man. I miss Miss Price. Rest in peace, Miss Price. I've always called her the #1 Cowboy fan, and I'm going to stand on that until the day I die.
Yeah, I got a chance to meet her, read her book. She's inspired me to write. Once I read her book, I was like, damn, Cowboy, fans can write their own book or tell their own story, and, I wanted to make sure we give her flowers because I've heard from her family. I think they are going to recognize her at one of the home games this season. And so I'll be looking forward to that. We'll get that information out as we get it. Wanted to make sure that we paid some homage there for Mrs. Price because this fan culture, man, it's something different, right? There's fans that wear a jersey and root for their team and throw it in the drawer when they get done and not wear it till next week. And then there's fans that this is a lifestyle, Kev.
It's a lifestyle, baby. It's a lifestyle. It's no off season. You build an off season, have a good season. That's why I tell them my off season program need to be as strong as your season. Because that's when you build these relationships and you have an understanding on what it takes to be in a successful fan club. You can't stay on the sidelines and just expect greatness when you're not out there doing it. That's why I tell our members, get involved. It's easy to be a critic from the sidelines, but get in the game, understand the process.
100%. Well, I know you've been busy. I know you just stepped off an airplane from Arizona and touched down. That's why we had to push the show back a little bit, but glad that you were able to make it. I wanted to get some key players on my podcast to let this culture get, to be known out there because this is a special season, baby. And I'm truly feeling like I'm circling the wagons because it's like we're on a race. What I mean?
We are, man.
We're in a race. And if you're not ready and the moment comes, you and I both know, just like Jerry does, winning's good for business.
All the time, baby, all the time. And I want to give a tremendous shout out to One Star One family, man. Kai, Raleigh, Sherry, and is that Sally, right? Her name is Sally.
Rod, yeah, that girl Sally.
Man. Yeah, Sally, man. They did a phenomenal job out there. Arizona was insane. Shout out to the Cowboy fans in Arizona. Shout out to Star Status National Arizona West, Patrick, Chanel, Riri, Dominique, David, MJ, AJ. I'm just meeting so many more people now. We're going to continue to grow in Arizona. We're going to grow all over, Barry. I'm going to tell you right now, Star Status is going to be global. We're not going to be just a local club. We're global.
Yeah, well, if you're in the Houston area and you're watching this or you're going to the Houston game, it's a chance to pull up Star Status, One Star One family. It's all going down, the roundup, the rally, the tailgate. It's time to circle the wagons, baby. And I appreciate you circling the wagons out there west in LA and now going national, with your rebrand. So glad that you were here to be able to share it here first. And any other words of wisdom before we get out of here, Kev?
No, man, just hey, keep a positive outlook, but do not put the head before the horse. Cowboy fans, it's preseason. Let's make sure that we not over exerting ourselves right now, because at the end of the day, they have to play in the regular season. So just be mindful of what your expectations are. Be
It's
mindful.
tough. It's tough, ain't it, Kev? Because
Yeah.
when we lose, we getting smashed. But when we win, then it's like, oh, it's just preseason.
Yeah, exactly. You can't win for losing.
And then when we beat New York,
it's just the Giants.
It's just the Giants.
Yep.
Dak beats them all the time. You know, it's
What's the
crazy.
key games that you want to? That I want to look at Baltimore. I want to look at the Baltimore game, of course, Philly.
Yeah,
but
that's
the
gonna be
Baltimore
interesting in
game,
Brazil.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. The Baltimore game, Houston
Shout out
game,
to One
back-to-back.
family. They're gonna be in Brazil, man. They are moving around, bro.
Oh no, we got Star Stats going to be out there as well.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, we got
Nice.
Star Stats.
Okay.
Yeah,
Star
we got
Status
Pepper,
International.
We got Pepper. We got Dallas T.
Pepper.
We got Lee Cross. We got Tanisha. We gonna have a good following out there.
Hey, Pepper's a stepper, bro. How many stadiums she got left before she finished them all?
I know, man. I don't know. I think maybe 5.
Yeah, definitely. I know we're gonna try to get her up on here too. We're gonna have more fans on this upcoming season. And before we get out of here, Kev, because you know there's a lot of super fans. You know, you and I, we're builders. A lot of us consider ourselves builders. We're not in it for the fan. Hey, I'm a bigger fan than you type recognition. But is there any particular super fan that you're following along this year, or maybe in your club that you're like, hey man, this is a new breath of fresh air for Cowboy fans?
Jason in Houston. He's in charge of the roundup for the Southeast National. He's been doing a good job based on, you know, his inexperience to do it. So I'm looking at Jason to help us get nationally known through that Houston game. So I'm looking at my boy Jason.
That's what's up. I look forward to meeting Jason too, man. I appreciate your time, Cowboy Kev. I appreciate your relationship, man, and everything you've done for this fan base. It's good that we got folks working together. And most of all, thank you for the name, baby, because without the name, you wouldn't have gave me a lane. You know what I mean?
No, Barry, you've earned that, you know, and I respect that. I love the hard work that you put in. A lot of people don't understand what it is to put on a production, and all they want to be show up and just leave, you know, but they don't understand the process of what it takes, the hard work and dedication that you have been committed, and you've been doing a phenomenal job. I can't thank you enough for the opportunity for this platform you gave me this evening.
Thank you, man. I'm looking forward to having you back because, you know, we're going to have to promo because I'm up here in Seattle Monday Night Football. We got that bye, and then we're going to be in L.A., AT&T West. So it's going to go down.
Is it we play Seattle, then we got to buy dinner Rams, right?
Correct. First week in December. First week in December, Seattle, which One Star One Family will be here. It's going down. There's going to be a lot of folks coming in for that.
That Monday night. Ooh, I hope I get time on the books.
Yeah, Sunday.
I've been trying to finagle something.
Hey, keeping up with the Joneses, it's tough, ain't it?
It's tough. It's tough. Hey, I'm going to put up a GoFundMe. Who wants to send Cowboy Kev to Seattle?
Hey, you think I'm bullshitting? We go to the Super Bowl, I'm definitely putting up a GoFundMe because you know and I know them tickets going to be pricey.
Yes, they are, man. Barry, keep doing what you do, man. I'm a supporter. I love you, brother. Thank you.
All right, man. We out of here. Y'all enjoy your Sunday. This has been Cowboy Kev, episode 7, Facebook Fanatic. Last time that I checked,
it was Star Status, our rep.
Hey, you know what?
Cowboy up, baby.
Let's go, baby.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over, and tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.